All right, welcome back. When we last left our intrepid programmer, uh, we were setting up Firebase authentication, and we were able to use Firebase's service in our Flutter app in a Windows environment through some roundabout installation methods, running it through Git CMD for a terminal-based Git availability, so that the what is it, Flutter base .batch file that was installed for the CLI could run. Whew. And the CLI was added to the path, yeah, all that sort of thing. It was a complicated mess. That was at about like 1 a.m. midnight, I don't know. This is like day 3 of go to bed at like 3 in the morning and getting up with a 1-year-old at 8 to 9 in the morning, which isn't terrible, but both of those things, this and that, can take a lot out of you. So that's my only bitch for the day, is that this is not me at my best. This is me at overworked and overtired. But without further ado, let's dive in. Here's the app running. We will see, I think on submit, it's going to use, let's see, we're on our sign in screen. We're going to log in with the one account we have set up. I should probably go and set this up. Now, I don't remember, after looking at it some more, basically these are collections, right? The auth, NoSQL is determined as a collection. It had been a minute since I really got into them, but it's basically the table that's associated with these objects. However, there isn't any schema, at least from what I can tell. Maybe there's one you can set up. Let's see, Firebase. I think I could just go here. Go to console. This is our app we've set up. Now we're only using the web stuff for it, the web authentication path, and I think you can illustrate that again here. You can see our one user. These are the only values in this table or in this collection. The sign-in method we have available is email and password and all the built-ins that come with that, which is, I believe, you can send a confirmation email. There's the built-in error production that error throwing, where user not found, wrong password, all these sort of things. And per the project, we're going to break that out into a few more. Something else I'm going to do is, instead of running this anonymous function on press, we're going to break this into its own little method of the class, more or less. Although I don't know if it'll be run like a method. I don't think we'll just call it elsewhere. It'll just be a method available in the widget. And we'll just leave them in the classes in here. I don't really know why I shouldn't at the moment. It'll probably be in the state. So we'll just develop a sign in. Let's see, sign in, log out. Although log out, in all honesty, is very brief, right? We need to set our index, but it's probably a better pattern to have all those kind of in their own easier to find location. So yeah, even though there's only like 4 lines, I'll probably do that as well. Unless there's, well, no, actually I'm not going to. I don't think in this one, because the state needs to be updated. And our state, if we remember correctly, is available through our consumer, which is enclosing this entire widget. I thought, oh no, wait, no, it's just the bottom one is our consumer. So yeah, so we need this state available. I could maybe make a function that passes a state. We could technically do that. Log out function accepts a state so that it can enact the indexing on it. Or if this is the only instance of state, which it probably is, the logout function would create our consumer and do all this inside the consumer. Yeah, okay. And that'll look a little better too, right? Like having this consumer as just the final element, while it did work, isn't probably how you want to do it. Especially, again, if this is the only instance of state, like, let's check. Okay, there's like 12. Well, it's because they're app state. Yeah, and they're all state. Yeah, no, yeah. That's the only time we've used a consumer. So we'll do that. We'll move the consumer into the function. That'll make it a lot cleaner in our widget list of children, so that we understand better what's being rendered, and then using this to do all this. So no big deal. Although, hang on, let me think. The builder builds an element. I think I keep forgetting that. I'm flip-flopping because this is all new. So, you got to figure it out. What would work, what doesn't work. If I made a function to build, I mean, this doesn't have to return. I guess the builder technically does want a widget. I'm not sure what this other widget question mark is, but I guess you might be able to feed it a widget to produce through there alone. Instead of, no, I mean, it needs a return. Maybe it returns the widget by default. This one here, I don't know. If it did, I would imagine this would cause an error. And of course, Cisco's waking up. I did take a brief nap when he went down, so my timing is, I guess, rather poor. It took too long, it seems. I took a brief nap. So I guess it's not technically, as tired as I should be, but 20 minutes usually does me pretty good. I feel like I could sleep for hours, and I just wanted to sit there and watch like YouTube videos and research this stuff a little more. Yeah, I guess the consumer is needed. Unless I mean, we could technically wrap the entirety of the build in the consumer, but and that might be important if we're going to use like clicking on profile, for instance, and switching a page, but none of that's in the bottom bar, so I'm looking too far ahead. I think we just stick with what we have, actually, with the need of rendering a container or a widget. This seems like a better pattern than just like returning a null widget or a widget that doesn't get used anywhere, right? Like if we had the function and we instantiate the consumer there and we return a blank text field, for instance, we don't have to render it, we don't have to apply it to any element, and we could do our state manipulation in there. As well as all this stuff, although this requires context as well. I think that feels a little too complicated for me right at this moment, especially when what I'm using is working. Trying to break that out into its own function. So that kind of, trying to think, the sign-in, let's look at what we're doing in the sign-in, right? Because my thought was to create a function for this. And context home screen. I think the other part is that we're going to end up using this auth state bit. I'm not quite sure what this is all doing. Like what the end goal here is. Of course, that should have been test. Although it might have needed to be underscored. Let's look at our app state real quick. No. Or I guess technically it was already there. This is the Firebase bit that I'm not sure I follow quite yet. Like, for listening for a user, none of this ever printed when we sign in, right? Like if we were to sign in, this is our functionality. I never get this text or this text. So how that could be listening, sign in with, would I run this here? I mean, we're going to try it real quick. Because this is the Firebase instance that's actually making the change. So that the type future. Can we credential that? I wouldn't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure how to tie those like together. So that my authentication state is listening for changes to this user. But this wasn't run either. So maybe where is that coming from? Material? No. Why is this a function here? okay, so why why does this have a problem with it over here? For the type sign-in state. Where did this sign-in state come from? Like, oh well, okay. I need that comment there. So this is in an auth state. Our sign-in state is in our main through the provider. Again, there's no listener, I guess. Or rather, this is in a change notifier. Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I can see how to do this in the database. I don't know where I can like tie in a listener for this, other than. Yeah, no, I just don't. I don't see it because we're always going to be calling our Flutter.instance, right? Even in the sign out, we're calling our instance. And it knows all of our data. Like it might as well just be our state. I don't know what. Like I assigned it to a value just to see what the listener is doing, or like try to print this. But like, of course, if you were able to use this, okay, right? I mean, like, I guess I'm not sure when I can just call Firebase auth.instance, why I would want to assign it to a variable in a state and then listen to changes to that variable. Probably so that it can update the renders of things like follower numbers, all that sort of stuff. Because even if I update the instance, but if I yeah, I guess, I mean, basically we're going to be updating like a backend database with data, and once we access that data directly, it should reflect any changes automatically, I would think, without worrying about a provider. But we could subscribe to the provider or consume the provider. It feels like I'm double dipping. Like you can do it either way. Both seem valid. And both will work. So I don't know. I feel like I understand. Like we're making a state out of a state. Making a provider out of a state so that other things can consume it. This is me being tired. But I could just use this as my state. and it's easily available without the need to consume, like adding that complexity. Okay. Let's just get this working, and then we can worry about what we should have done or how it should have looked. I'm gonna pull up the actual project. So we want a collection. Now the things that we're collecting now in the task, it wants all the other. We need the name, the username. Let's log out, and we can sign up. We need name, email, password. So why is there a username? Why would you know what? I'm going to put in a field for a username because I can't get over that. Like once we're in, if we're using, like on the home screen, we have a username. I guess that's the name. Like why am I putting this in twice? No, there's definitely a name and a username per the post. So let's go fix that first. Sign up gets a name and username field, and we're gonna recreate controllers. Let's see. And I'm just putting these in the order they're gonna appear in the form. So so I'm gonna grab this, add one more, enter username, and you can refresh that. So sign up now looks like this. We're going to stick with capitals because I feel like that looks a little better. Sign up, username, password. Okay. Okay, the thing that I was trying to get at is that we want a collection, and this collection we're going to call user data. Now, just say 0 for a test. Fields, we're going to match the fields. Which are name equals trace, which use my info. Username make them lowercase, trace Serio. Add field, email. Now, I don't remember if I can get this. I think I can get this from the user object. Okay. And actually, I don't think we just need this. The password's going to be, that's going to be handled by the auth. Email, I'm going to have to, that's fine. I didn't really get very far. It's just, okay, maybe we can save it. We can edit it. That'll be fine. That's our first. Now see, I thought this was a collection. Okay, so wait, it says start collection. I can have a collection within the collection. I'm guessing that's the idea. Or is it in this namespace? User data. Not quite sure I understand what happened there. And where did I just clicked one thing? What happened to my data? Just the two names. Okay, here we go. Right, that should be the document, right? That's the zero key dot. Yeah, that's this. Okay, I'll get there. I guess I can add a collection within. Interesting. Okay, yeah. Now I think I need my user object or my user class, but I can't remember where I put that. I thought it was in the auth file. Because we needed all the different values for the user that I was guessing at, and maybe I just didn't save it. Let's get rid of all this for a second and just start. Was it in the app state? No, that's page index. I think I did it in here and removed it. I think I did. I think it lived in there. I don't think it would be in any of the screens. I might have accidentally put it in a widget. This is in the search. Here we go. Post widget. This is all the information in the post widget, and this should be in a user object, is my feeling, right? I should have a model, models, user Dart. There we go. And it's coming back. Yes, this is what I want to instantiate. This is what I need to have all of this information tied to. So let's get started. So I'm pretty sure this is the key. I don't know if, no, it's probably needed here. I don't know how to, basically I'm taking database information, reading it, I'm assuming as some sort of JSON, instantiating it through the from JSON function to our object, and then I can use the object throughout while, and it's going to pull the key, the GUI, I think it's a GUI ID or whatever. Let's open this in another tab. The user UID. UUID. Okay, this is the auto-generated stuff that's going to be the key to our, so we can, you know what, let's just, yeah, let's grab that. How do I, yeah, there it is, beautiful. So we're going to go edit this to, okay, delete it, yeah, delete the document, that's fine. User data, add document, the key, this is our document ID, fields. We're going to just start going off all these. Now in the database, I don't need to recreate the key field, but okay, so now user ID is probably like, why would I need that if that's the key? Although as the user ID, the document ID, and the key is a part of the built-in Flutter stuff. That's probably closer. Although you might be able to use, I would imagine you could use the document ID as your key and somehow tie those together. Still a little unfamiliar. You know what? No, you can. Yeah, it's being set right here. Although it might not be called key in the JSON. I'll look into it, but for now, maybe. No, yeah, I imagine it must be right. Like this. If I read this collection, I should get a list of key value pairs. The key being the ID of the document, and the result being the user object. And I could just use the key of the one I'm searching for. User ID feels redundant. We're going to use it for now. We're going to create it as the UUID, email. And see, this is this becomes more complicated. And although maybe there's a reason that this, I feel like you're double dipping again with the state, right? Like I'm just trying to think ahead. Like I don't need an email field for the user because it's in the instance of the current user with the current user information, right? I don't need identifier. I guess that's the only thing. It's really the only field in question. So we'll right, and my thought is if you ever have to update the email for the user, great. Okay, sure, I could update the user's email, but they're still authenticating off of this other, the one in the authentication collection. So you'd have to update both or change, the one in the authentication collection. You have to double dip. And like, why would I want to do that unless there's some automation thing that I'm not catching on to just quite yet? But if I pull this user out of the database in my auth state and provide that user data throughout my app in my auth state, setting it and changing it still doesn't reflect the actual authentication that's happening. And if I change the auth without updating if I update the actual authentication value, email, I don't imagine it would propagate to the other unless you have that listener. Okay, so unless you have a user listener and you're just using, like, you're using a provider of that value, but that's in a state, so the instance is different and it has like this listener thing, and if you're listening to the user's identifier, maybe it would automatically update. God, my brain breaks sometimes. I don't know enough about this and I need to just get through the process. So we'll go ahead and give it we're just going to give it everything it asked for, even if I feel like it's redundant and silly. In our case, sign in. Add field. Oh shoot, I hate when I do that. Add field. Email, name. Username. Now, I feel like it looks like reference is pulling in another. I mean, let's. I'd like for it to reference itself. That doesn't work. It's just like a. Basically, I just wanted to pull the username again. And I don't remember using this anywhere as of yet. Image URL. Okay, string again. Oh man. We need to. I'm just trying to grab my avatar. It's in the sidebar. My avatar URL. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, this is me zoning out every now and then. Sorry. Followers. Oh, maybe music. Man, I need just something. Keep me going. You know, what was that song? Yeah, I'm gonna do that Linkin Park song again. That one always pumps me up. Okay. And I thought Cisco was waking up, but it looks like he just needed a shift, so that's lucky. And a fire below me. You can't catch me, cannot hold me. You cannot stop, much less control me. Now, how do I manage this? This is probably a reference to another table somewhere with collections that, I mean, if it was a relational database, you know, I would say that it, you know, you do a query where the ID or whatever, the user that it's tied to has all the following follower information. You can just do counts. I'm going to leave these blank. Not quite sure how these play out. Now, in the in here they give you the snippet, right? We will also add a reference to the user collections inside Firebase Firestore, which will hold the user's data. So that's what I'm working on right now. Instance collection users, they're creating a collection of users with converter user from Firestore, return consumer.from JSON. Okay, so this is a from and a to send and receive. I think I'm understanding that better now. Although I don't know what this actually ends up returning. Maybe if you're in a creation, the ID. Now this, again, I don't think there's anything in here that's gonna instantiate a key in Flutter. It's going to be different than what the actual user ID is. So that's probably better to have that there. So I am curious to see reference the users collections inside Firebase Store, which will hold the user's data. Using with converter, we can add fetch data in the format we want. So let's see, what are we're collecting? A name, username. So so collecting an email, a name, a username. The password is not stored in the user data. This is going to be set programmatically. We have these three. This is a return value from our authentication. This will be also the username. And then an image URL must be getting set later. So we'll ignore that value. And I'm not sure how to handle the followers list. It'd be nice to know how this actually ends up. So we're going to just leave that blank for now, I think. And we're going to stick with these. So we could technically use this to build our card. Okay, let's see. We're gonna try and reference the user data with the sign in screen. So we're gonna be in here. So after all this is completed, oh no, it's because we don't have a credential option in here, right? Because of scoping, if I say credential down here, it's probably gonna have a red line. Yeah. So let's just try to get the data for right now, which will likely run down here. Where did that this example that they used was this. So we need to include our user class and sign in at the moment. So let's just try var. Oh. Right, they're using Firebase Firestore. That's the cloud Firestore. Okay. So I'm Firebase auth instance. Firebase clearly doesn't have an auth. I wish this would show up stuff for me. Oh, God bless America. I was like, what is going on here? So it's still not going to find it probably, yeah. So let's see if we can just close that down a little bit. No, yeah, okay. So Firebase app, maybe? Returns a Firebase app instance. If no name is provided, the default app instance is returned. Throws if the app does not exist. Okay, so I think it's playing my dance party mix. Okay, so now we can just see if it runs at all. If this gets us anything like what we want. Or if it's gonna just bomb. Because we're not using the cloud Firestore. And maybe we need to. This is the sign in. Firebase app.default. So what all does this have? Maybe the name is like Squawker. No, it's just default. Of course it's default. I don't know why I thought anything else. Okay, now what the hell are we using again? Where's my YAML? Firebase core. Access collection with Firebase core Flutter. Getting started usage. This plugin, please visit core usage. Yeah, thank you. Add Firebase to your Flutter app. Yeah. Log in. Yeah. I just wanna get my collection. Flutterfire. This is that Flutterfire. That's the command line. This is where we built it out. Plugins. Flutterfire. Run. Plugin in. So maybe we need the Firebase plugin. Yeah. Ha. Let's go see what that is. I'm sure that's probably what we need. Your cloud Firestore database. You haven't already created for this project. Console add project and follow. Firebase console we prompted select an existing mode for your cloud Firestore. Is there a dark mode for this page that I missed? Improve times by including the pre-compiled framework. You upgraded Cocoa Pods. As far as local emulator suite, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. db.collection. Yeah, so this, I think this ends up looking a lot like Firebase Firestore instance. Yeah, so that's what's up. Okay, well, I guess I need this too. Why did I just there? Flutter. Okay, so let's close the app. And once that's installed and we do the package import in our sign-in screen, the script will likely run. Although we're going to say user data. So Okay, now how do I... Alright, let's just try and run it. Maybe it ends up as part of the core. And if IntelliSense can see it, then Firebase Firestore. Yeah, how do I import this package? Cloud Firestore? Is it in the example here? Mm-mm. So, yeah, I'm gonna guess. It follows all this patterning here. We're just gonna try it. So, this is Cloud Firestore. Seems like that might be okay. Okay, this is looking much better. Custom user from JSON. So where is this custom user? Oh, sorry. Oh, I don't have like a mute that works on my desktop mic, or I would have hit it. Sorry. I have like a pinched nose hair or something. It's just, it's, oh my God, my eyes are watering. It's terrible. Okay, so let's import user. We're gonna go ahead and give it a user. Import dot, let's see, dot models user dart. Now, excuse me. I'm guessing we need an instance of the user. Yeah, this should definitely be identifying the user, I would think, at this point. Is defined in libraries package. Try using as prefix for one of the above directives. Importance. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right? So we've doubled up on our user classes because I guess Firebase auth has it. Okay, so we're gonna call this user data, just like we did the table. And our user will be our user from the auth then, and we're gonna make that user data. This part seems a little strange. There we go. So this one's a map string object, and we have map dynamic. So string object. That just feels like it broke everything because it's not an object. I'm not sure how this is supposed to. We're sending it, converting it to JSON. String object. Transforms a collection reference to manipulate. Firebase instance collection. Okay, let's. Users data. Right, I'm gonna just double check that we have our users data. User data. Did I call it users over here? User data. Yep, no, that's right. User reference. And get rid of this. Type user data, yeah. I like this model. Turn type map. Dynamic isn't a map string object as required by the closures. Right, now take a model as a parameter instead of a map. What? Await models ref.add. Reads now return a model instead of a map. Well, right, I'd assume that I would want like Right, so now take a model, adding that, and it doesn't say anything. From JSON snapshot, from JSON. So this assumes that it exists. And it's just the data. Like, I don't know what this empty. And yeah, I like the arrow syntax there. What the hell? Oh, I'm highlighting it. This song is like tripping out. Not sure. No, I'm just some Swedish House Mafia song. There's like just these little hints of like sound, what sounds like just like feedback almost. No, get out of here. Or like a record skipping. Or, you know, it's just like this high-pitched tweet noise that keeps kicking in. It's super annoying. So I wish I had an example of what this converter should look like. Transforms a collection reference to manipulate a custom object instead of a map string dynamic. So this has to be God, that's such a bunch of text. String object question mark. So this is really killing me. One, because I don't quite necessarily understand this syntax. Like a string and an object. So this is a list of user datas. Right? Like, is this going to calm down now that I've typed it? Collection reference to manipulate a custom object instead of a map string. How in the world? Thanks, TypeScript. Require string object. It's hot. There's a manipulate a sequence of characters. String. No, that's not it. What the? Class for all darts objects except null. So if it can be any object, why is a string not? How? If I want strings, like this makes me believe that, like this is returning. Reads now return a model instead of a map. Well, what the, like, where's your map? Where's your, like, final model? So the model dot doc. I'm assuming that's the one they want. That get, then return s data. So the data is that. And Flutter Firestore. Let's see, Firebase Firestore dot collection. I feel like I could do this much simpler without trying to automatically convert back and forth, like with this. I don't know. Dot with converter. Objects converter used by post to string const post converter to Firestore from Firestore document data. It's returning just an object. Post converter. With converter. Collection thing with converter, and it's just a single function. So we're going to try going this route. This okay, so this, I feel like this is either outdated or I'm not quite sure how to make a function that does this. Like, right? Like these are instantiating objects. From JSON. The JSON is strings of strings. And it returns a user data object. So I don't think I can use that here. but I can call it with the snapshot data? Probably can. So let's just scratch that. Const user data converter. This is how I usually work. I'm just gonna drag it over here. Sorry, I'm grabbing code from that example you just saw, so easy enough to follow. Okay, so we have a post, we have a converter equals it's a map, okay, because the map is like the object. All right, to Firestore. In this case, we want user data. User data. I'm not sure where that's like. Man, I wish. Is this post for like sending data? Isn't a function. What? None of this looks correct. None of this looks correct, right? I don't have a lowercase Firebase. Where is this coming from? Firebase.firestore. This is kind of terrible. So that's for getting, from what it looks like, a document. Hmm. And of course Cisco's awake. So this is where we'd come in, our model comes in. But clearly, oh geez, come on. All right. Okay, I'll probably gotta go get him. Just gonna finish this out real fast. ud.key key. No, I don't have a key. Was it user ID? Is it because, do I not have core installed here? Firebase core. Cloud Firestore. Well, document's a little janky. This feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't think I can follow the converter at this point right now, especially I gotta go get Cisco. This sucks. I thought I'd really pretty much be done, but I understand the value of having like a converter available in the state that you're pushing down or wherever. Like, wouldn't this be like this? Oh wait, now it's working? Or what? Is it defined for the type sign in state? Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go get him. I might come back, but anyway, we didn't get hardly anywhere. Unfortunately, I thought I had this all laid out, and I think I can do it without the converter. I can do it by grabbing stuff. I can do it by adding, like, just directly, and I feel like I'm barking up the wrong tree here. This would be nice to have. It's like a nice to have. Is it necessary? I don't think so. But okay, till next time.